Hey, good morning. My name is Jaquan. Today is May 27th, and welcome to Reddit Recap. Today we have an AITA story. I'm going to keep the names changed for just keep the user anonymous. Today's story is AITA for refusing to let my sister's family move into my house. So welcome back to the channel. We have another one for you. Can't wait to share this one. It involves family drama, some financial troubles, and some moral dilemmas. So let's get into it and see who's in the situation. All right. So our story comes from a user we'll call Mike, and Mike reads, "Hey, I, 34 male, been working really hard over the past decade to build a comfortable life for myself. A few years ago, I bought a nice house in a quiet neighborhood. It's my sanctuary, a place where I can unwind after a long day of work. Recently, my sister, Sarah, who is 30, approached me with a request. She's married to Tom and they have two kids, aged 6 and 4. Now, Sarah and Tom have been struggling financially ever since Tom lost his job over a year ago. They've been living off of Sarah's part time income and Tom's unemployment benefits, but it's been really tough for them. So Sarah asks if they can move into my house temporarily until Tom finds a new job and they can get back on their feet. She says they'll stay for about 6 months, promise to contribute to household expenses as much as they could. Now, I love my sister and my nieces, but the thought of having 4 extra people in my house is overwhelming. All right, so Mike's already feeling a little bit uneasy. So let's go ahead and see what happens next. So he continues, I told Sarah I needed some time to think about it. She seemed to understand. I spent a few days mulling it over, weighing the pros and cons. On one hand, I want to help my sister and her family. I know they're in a tough spot, but I do need to have my own space. On the other hand, I cherish my privacy and the quiet of my home. I work long hours and often bring work home with me. Having two young kids around would be noisy, distracting. Plus, Tom and I never really got along. He can be quite stubborn and opinionated, and we've clashed more than once at family gatherings. So, after much consideration, I decided to tell Sarah that I couldn't let them move in. I offered to help them financially in other ways, like paying for a few months' rent for a smaller place or helping Tom with his job search. I just couldn't open up my house to them. Okay, so looks like Mike has made his decision. But of course, if we're getting the story, there's got to be a little bit more to it. So let's go ahead and see what's next. So he said when he broke the news to Sarah, she was angry. She started crying, accused him of not caring about her kids. She said he was being selfish and that the family should help each other in times of need. Tom, who was with her, also got angry and called me a few choice names before storming out. My parents have also weighed in saying that I should have let them move in because family comes first. They think I'm being unreasonable and that I'll regret this decision. I do feel terrible about the whole situation, but I still believe I made the right choice for my own well-being. Now, this is definitely a tough situation. Mike's kind of between helping his family, maintaining his own peace. Let's break down some of these perspectives a little bit. Now, from Sarah's perspective, of course, especially being in a time when everyone's looking for jobs, it's not that easy to find a job. I'm sure she's feeling desperate. I'm sure she's feeling a little bit let down from her brother. Um, and I'm sure she probably just sees this as a temporary solution. That's probably why it's hard for her to kind of, if he has the space, why wouldn't he? You know what I mean? But on the other hand, I am quite like Mike in the aspect of I like privacy, I like my quiet. And these are things that are important to mental health and work productivity. He is offering other ways to help, so he's not just completely trying to leave her out in the cold. He's showing her he does care. He just isn't comfortable with them living under the same roof. Now, of course, we do have the parents. Parents are always going to want you to put your family first, make personal sacrifices. But I mean, you know what? Why aren't the parents offering a place to stay as well? You know what? That's questionable. Questionable. So, like, what do you think? Is Mike, for not letting his sister's family move in, or do you think he's in the right to protect his own space and his well-being? This story definitely brings to light some tension behind family obligations and personal boundaries. It happens every day. So, I definitely love to hear your thoughts on this. Leave a comment, let us know some of your experiences. Um, and of course, we'll be back to bring you some more stories. I have another gripping AITA story today. Think it'll spark some interesting discussions. This one involves pets, allergies, friendship dilemma. So let's dive in and figure out who's, in the situation. So this story comes from Anna. We'll call her Anna for, keep her anonymous. And it reads, "Hey everyone, I'm Anna, 28, love animals, but have a severe allergy to dogs. My best friend, Laura, has a golden retriever named Max. Now, Laura and I have been friends since college, and we often hang out at each other's houses or go out together. Now, recently, Laura asked if she could bring Max over to my house when she visits. She said Max gets anxious when left home alone, and that it would be great if he could actually just join us. Now, I adore Max and thinks he's a sweet dog, but my allergies are no joke, even with medication. I start sneezing, my eyes get watery, and I have trouble breathing if I'm around dogs for too long. Now, I tried to explain this to Laura and suggested we continue meeting at her place or find pet friendly cafes and parks where we could hang out with Max. Laura seemed a bit disappointed, but agreed. Now, I thought everything was fine until a few days later when she brought up the topic again, insisting that Max is well behaved and won't cause much trouble. All right, so Anna's already facing a tricky situation. Let's kind of see how this escalates. So she reiterates her allergies and how it would be uncomfortable for her to have Max in her house. Laura got upset and accused me of not caring about her feelings or about Max. She said that real friends are accommodating to each other's needs and that she would do the same for me if I had a pet with special requirements. I just want to take a quick sidebar. It's kind of funny how she says that friends should be accommodating when she's let's continue. So I tried to explain that it's not about not liking Max, but about my health. Laura was not convinced and left my place in a huff. Since then, our friendship has been strained. She's been distant. Our usual hangouts have become awkward. She even skipped a few get togethers altogether, saying she didn't want to leave Max alone. Now I'm torn. I feel guilty for not being able to accommodate her and Max, but I also know my allergies are a real issue. Now, that is a kind of a tough spot that Anna is in. Um, I'm kind of on Anna's side on this, to be completely honest. But let's try to break down Laura's perspective a little bit. Now I have an anxious dog as well, so I understand she loves her dog. Sees Max as part of her family. Probably a little. She could be a little bit hurt. Her best friend can't accommodate her, and probably thinks Anna's refusals a little bit stubborn. Um, I mean, we have to assume that she assumes it's more than just allergies, but from Anna's side, Anna has been pretty accommodating, even with her medicine and her allergies. Um, she suggested they go out to other places so Max can still be included. So I don't know. She's actually done all she can to find a middle ground here. Um, but the fact that Anna keeps bringing up accommodations and I don't know, that's kind of weird. You know what I mean? So what do you think? Is Anna, do you think she is for not letting her best friend's dog into her house despite her severe allergies? Or is Laura being inconsiderate? I mean, these are health limitations. It's not just she doesn't want to be around dogs. You know what I mean? So we'll definitely love to hear your thoughts on this. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think, who you think's in the right. And if you have any similar stories or experiences, definitely feel free to share. We got another AITA story for you. My name is Jaquan. Welcome to Reddit Recap. And today's story has a little bit of family drama, accusations of theft, really some more dilemmas in there. So this was sure to get you thinking. I want to go ahead dive in and we can kind of see what's going on. So this story comes from a user who we'll call Emily, and Emily writes, hey, I'm 26 years old, recently moved back to my hometown, and I've always been close to my family, especially my cousin Jessica, who's 24. We grew up together and we're more like sisters than cousins. A few months ago, I inherited some beautiful and valuable jewelry from my grandmother. Now, these pieces mean a lot to me, not just because of their monetary value, but because of their sentimental value as well. Recently, Jessica started having some financial troubles. She lost her job and has been struggling to make ends meet. Now, I've tried to help her as much as I can, lending her money, offering support, and she's actually been staying at my house quite a bit. And I've never thought twice about it because I trust her completely. All right, so we do, they definitely have a strong bond, but something's going to take a turn. So let's go ahead and see what's next. So she continues. A few weeks ago, I noticed that a necklace and a pair of earrings from my grandmother's collection were missing. At first, I thought I might have misplaced them, so I didn't think much of it. But then more pieces started to disappear. I searched everywhere and even started to doubt myself, thinking I might have lost them. But the more I thought about it, the more I began to suspect that someone had taken them. The only person who had ever been there frequently enough to have the opportunity was Jessica. Now, of course, I didn't want to believe it, but I felt I had to ask her. When I confronted Jessica, she became defensive, angry, swore she didn't take anything, and was hurt that I would even think she could do something like that. She left my house in tears, and now she's not speaking to me. My family's completely divided. Some think I was right to ask, others think that accusing her was just wrong. Oh wow. So Emily's definitely in a tough spot. Especially when the items not only are valuable, but like when they're sentimental, that can kind of cloud things as well. Not saying she's in the wrong to ask, but I mean, if you're trying to find something that means a lot to you, you're just trying to find it. That's all you're thinking about. So let's dive a little bit deeper into the situation. All right. So after Jessica stormed out of my house, I was left feeling really confused and guilty. Part of me wanted to believe her, but the missing jewelry weighed heavily on my mind. I decided to take a different approach to get to the bottom of this. I installed a small security camera in my living room where I kept most of the jewelry. I didn't tell anyone about it, hoping that if the jewelry continued to disappear, I'd have concrete evidence. For the next few weeks, I didn't invite Jessica over, giving her space and hoping to avoid further confrontation. During this time, I kept a close eye on the footage, but nothing suspicious happened. I started to even doubt myself more. Had I really misplaced those pieces? Just as I was beginning to lose hope, something unexpected happened. One evening, I invited some friends over for a small gathering. Among them was a mutual friend of Jessica's and mine named Rachel. Rachel has been very supportive and understanding throughout the whole ordeal. And as we chatted, she mentioned casually that she had seen some jewelry that looked very similar to my missing pieces on a local online marketplace. My heart sank. I quickly pulled up the site on my phone, started scrolling, and there they were, my grandmother's necklace and earrings, unmistakably unique, listed for sale. The seller's profile was anonymous, but the location matched Jessica's neighborhood. I felt a mix of anger, betrayal, sadness. I didn't want to jump to conclusions again without more proof, so I contacted the seller pretending to be an interested buyer. We arranged to meet at a nearby cafe. When I arrived, I was shocked to see Jessica there holding the jewelry. Oh, she did it. She looked surprised to see me and tried to explain that she was only selling them because she was desperate for money. She said that she had planned to buy them back once she got back on her feet. I was heartbroken and didn't know what to say. I took the jewelry back and left without causing a scene. When I got home, I was overwhelmed with emotions. I confronted Jessica later over at the phone, telling her how hurt and betrayed I felt. She apologized profusely, but the damage was already done. She admitted to taking the jewelry over several visits, hoping I wouldn't notice until she could return the money. Now our relationship is strained to say the least. Jessica moved out and in with another family member, and we haven't spoken since. The trust between us is shattered, and I don't know if we'll ever be as close as we once were. My family is even more divided now, with some believing I was too harsh and others thinking Jessica got what she deserved. I feel like I lost both my jewelry and my cousin. So she did it. Um, I guess she wasn't for accusing her. Maybe have done it a little bit harshly, but I mean, she was in the right for doing that. Um, I don't know. The fact that the family is divided, that family's always going to be divided. So that's going to be a weird situation. Yeah. So, I mean, she did it. So, um, if you have any stories like this or you want to share anything, feel free to send it in. And we'll be happy to send more. Thanks for coming to Reddit Recap.